I want to know you. You're cute. You got soul and a silly smile that begs me to reflect it. I never expected to be drawn to your grisly figure. Barely soft, always funny. I want to be your trigger. I want to be your honey. Sweet or sour, I'll be the one he calls his flower. Blooming in the storm, never to conform to this world's ways. Now this girl's nay pretty or attractive, but when the world gets under your skin, I want to be your proactive. Fact is, I'm not another young thing for you to face as a Baptist half-wit. I'm a girl with a heart and you can have it. I want to kiss your wounds and put your claws away. I want to listen to your tunes, you've got a lot to say. When you're growling at the moon singing of old mistakes, fighting through the fakes to find your mate. I know you're porous as the trees. I caught you praying on your knees for us, to soak up all the glory of the Father of the forest. So when we meet, he'll adore us and teach us to love more than love equates to touch, to create more than a crush but a bond, James. Because I'm in 007th heaven every time I'm in your presence. Presence, you're a gift of which I'm probably undeserving, and it's oddly unnerving to know you're out there hibernating. So until then, I'll be waiting, working on me, so I can be the best he can bear to call his own.
Does it have a heartbeat? Will I never meet your tiny body, touch your tiny feet? Do you have a heartbeat? Do you have a heartbeat? Does your heart beat at the same pace as mine, or does it have a rhythm of its own? Do you know that your very existence threatens the life it belongs to, that I may be forced to allow a surgeon to sever our cosmic embrace, that I may never meet your tiny body or tickle your tiny feet? Gifts from God don't often come with a receipt, but I've been forced to return you anyway, because they sucked the life out of me. They sucked the life out of me. I waited for 3 hours in a waiting room reading the expressions on expressionless faces of women who, like me, were forced to give up any freedom of expression to get the life sucked out of me. I laid flat on a table staring at the ceiling while you sucked the life out of me. You with your sterility, your scrubs to scrub away the dirty deeds done in the darkest of my cavities. To be sure that every dream I conceive is born wingless, when the dream was created by a man too busy tying my wrist to his bedpost to get tied down. And even his bed can support me physically in a way he never could, because his hands are too busy holding my hips to be held accountable for a 10-minute mistake he never intended to make. And I could deal with the hypocrisy. I could brave the things he thrust on me if it wasn't for the misogyny, that as a woman, it is me who should handle the responsibility. And your birthday would be the anniversary of the day when he decided he owes nothing to me. And by then, he'll be too busy flirting with the next girl to leave her dignity in the backseat of his SUV. But that's enough about me. Let's talk about you. I wish you were alive enough to forgive what I had to do, but answer me this. Did you have a heartbeat? Will I never meet your tiny body, touch your tiny feet? And did you have a heartbeat?
When an artist is finished painting, the artist will wash the paintbrush so that used colors won't mix with new ones. And when I'm finished painting a poem, I never wash the paint off my pen's bristles so that remnants of past creative expression can mix in and inspire future compositions. I like my art to be connected. You see, my mind is placed on a palette so my memories may mix with powerful description. I have the perfect colors at my fingertips, ready to make a beautiful work of art, ready for the portrait of the poet to start. And as I'm finished, my painting hangs proudly on verbal galleries, just waiting to be purchased and bought, hung on the walls of the mind so it can decorate a person's thought. But I'm painting a new poem and I need some artistic inspiration, so I take a vacation. I make a trip proudly towards the online gallery, YouTube. I find 2 or 3 paintings that get me amazed, but the rest get me lost like I was left in a maze, and I'm left confused and dazed. I don't understand. Some artists are blessed with the finest brushes and the riches of paint, but sadly, when artists painted predictably, it could be merely vandalism, graffiti on clean white buildings, yet these pieces are proclaimed as genius simply because they use the most popular paints. You see, they play the emotion card, pretend to have meaning. That sculpture is ugly. I don't see what others are seeing, but that metaphor deserves a 10. Listen to the metaphor, it sounds good, but it makes no sense. These artists all want to be Van Goghs because it seems they cut their ears off, unaware that they sound whack, and it doesn't help when these artists have worshippers at their legs as if it were gold calves. But really, the only color they have is fool's gold. These artists are simply tracing, using a certain mold, but that's okay, I guess. I'm just mad and bitter that my art supplies are lacking in experience. My experience seems to be inferior, and I hate how some can be superior just because they have, forgive me for saying this, a more tragic experience, and it pains me when I hear a painting that is about the most serious situation, yet it sucks so bad because it could do so much better. Marvin's Room. But no, don't even think about that. Don't forget what I said, because I dare not resort to cheap punchlines just to sound good. I dare not talk ghetto just to sound hood, and I always use the most honest paint, and that seems to never run out. But me? I don't have enough pain to use as my paint. I'm not a devil nor am I a saint. I'm not an advocate for world hunger, racial injustices, heartbreak, political conflicts. I'm just a guy who knows how to make words rhyme. And when it comes to that time I obtain those art supplies, I'll try my best to create masterpieces. I'm not discouraging other people's artistic expression. I'm just suggesting that if you have extraordinary paint, you better be prepared to paint a Picasso. Because not even the most beautiful subject can be turned ugly if painted recklessly. A poem always deserves to be painted with skill and technique and should be expressed with passion as you speak right from the start, because it can be considered trash, even if it comes from the heart. With the limited supplies, I try to create art. I do my best to create something from nothing, make sure my poems are painted with passion, quality, and honesty is the base. And if other artists did this, then maybe they wouldn't have to trace. Thank you.
This started off as an empty page. Quite honestly, I didn't know what to say. Looking at it blank, I thought, hey man, this is great. But as I let my innate pain complain and the blood spill from my veins, I realized this page was waiting for me, waiting to grasp all the words I couldn't convey. Along the way, I found it hard to refrain from being cliche, so I let the melodrama spill from the tips of the quill, emptying out the till filled with blue and white pills. The pain was instilled, so it was no coincidence that the curse was I couldn't quit, so I didn't pursue to resist or go by without being able to coexist, when all I ever heard were melodies from her lips, singing rain as the oceans wade, embraced by both the fog and the sun, a number that overcomes any sum, greater than life to a newborn son. One, when all we had was either treasure or trash, I wanted to hold her whether she brought pleasure or wrath. I knew she'd understand from all the times her hands held my organs, panting a heavy sweat, all without need of greed or empathy, empty like the holes in her face, yet she stayed something so beautiful, a picture of lust painted with grace.
You're good. Good job, this.
Yet I knew she was human, for she remained well dressed. For I knew she was human, for she remained well dressed, from the toes and the soles to the V of her neck. And I never wanted to let her go like the pines did with water, because we still had to and fro to grow, and for her my heart was a starter. I know she had feelings, so I asked her to stay, for I felt her heart beating drums, the banging which showed me the way to a cerebral, convinced she had senses, and she would show me all the sequels to the answers I never questioned. She knew as well as I that if we listened closely towards the end of each night, we could hear people's dreams passing by like meteorites. I guess what I'm trying to say is, if people burn to ashes from glowing too bright, I'd hug the sun, and if she was the sun, I certainly lived to burn more than once.
Yeah.